They have become a favourite of mine over the past few months. I have a lot of favourite songs here. Song discoveries. Oh yeah, I remember that song now. And that is how I discovered him. Hi everyone, so welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Chloe and I am a writer and a musician here on YouTube, and today, as you can tell from the title, I am going to be talking about the latter of those two subjects today. Yes, I am doing a music related video, basically all about my new discoveries that I made in March and April. These videos take a lot of work, which is why I have kind of like stopped doing as many music related videos now, just because they take so long, especially like these discoveries videos, because I listen to so much music. I then have to plan out the video, which takes half an hour to an hour, and then filming, it takes a really long time because I always end up talking for way too long, and then editing. Oh, editing is probably the longest process. Today I am going to be talking about my March and April discoveries. If you haven't watched my previous two videos like this, I will make sure to leave them either linked down in the description or up in the cards. I also did one which was like 2020 discoveries video as well, so I will make sure to leave that linked as well. If you are new to my channel and this is one of the first videos of mine that you are watching, how I like to do these is I like to talk about three different things. So I've got band discoveries, album/EP discoveries, and then I have got all of my song discoveries. Naturally, yes, we are gonna start with the band discoveries, and if I keep looking down, it is because this is my script for this video. And so naturally we're going to start with the band discoveries. And now in March and April I discovered 6 new bands, and I like to do this in different sections, not in terms of like band, album and song discoveries. I have the band, then when I discovered them, how, and then my favourite songs. So the first band, I believe, is actually called Burden, but it has a V instead of a U. And I discovered them in March. How I discovered them was actually from an Instagram sponsor. I get it a lot with my Instagram stories, like when I'm going through and watching other people's stories, they will just pop up between stories, and that is how I do actually discover a lot of the music that I listen to. And it is one of the 3 ways I would say that I actually discover more music. And then my favourite songs by them are Lies and Dangerous. And then the second band that I discovered were Caskets, and I discovered them in March, and I actually discovered them through a random Spotify playlist. I like to do this a lot, where I will just put a random Spotify playlist on that is kind of like the genre of music I listen to, or certain artists' radios. That is, you know, radio playlists. That is one of the other ways I like to discover my music, and discovering, you know, new songs and new bands, and that is one of the ways that I love, like just finding more songs that I like. And then my 2 favourite songs of theirs are Falling Apart and Signs. And then the third band that I discovered was From Ashes to New. I think these were more of like a rediscovery. I feel like I have listened to one of their songs before, but I don't really know what it was called or when. I feel like I must have like listened to one of their songs like a very long time ago and never really just took notice of it. I discovered them in March from, yet again, another random Spotify playlist. I'm definitely thinking that this was one of those, you know, I just put my playlist on and listen to it, and then when I hear a song that I like, I will just add it to my Discoveries playlist. Oh, and by the way, if you are interested in, you know, knowing more about my kind of style of music and what I listen to and what I love, then I will make sure to leave all of my Discovery playlists so far in the description down below for you to check out. And yes, they are all over on Spotify. And then the two songs of theirs that I absolutely love are Scars That I'm Hiding, and which features Anders Frieden of In Flames. I'm not entirely sure on the pronunciation of that, I'm really not. And then the other favourite is called Broken. And then the fourth band that I discovered was Hailstorm, and I discovered them in April. I actually, you know, discovered this band because of a writer friend, I would guess, like someone that I've kind of become friends with over on Instagram, that is a writer called Julia Scott, and she does this thing on Instagram called, I think it's Sound Off Sunday or Bop Off Sunday, something like that, where every Sunday she would just like have 10 songs on her stories. You just have to say if it's a bop or not, if you like it, if you don't like it. I think Beautiful With You came up on there, and that was the first song of theirs that I discovered, and then I checked them out on Spotify and listened to a couple of their other songs. And so my three favourites are obviously Bad Romance. I love their cover of Bad Romance, it is so good. The second is I Miss the Misery, and then the third favourite song is naturally Beautiful With You. And then the fifth band that I would say it was more of like a rediscovery, and I discovered them in March, was the Hunter. They have become a favourite of mine over the past few months. Yeah, they have some really great stuff. I'm definitely into that, like that punk rock, that indie punk rock sort of sound. Like I said, I discovered them in March from a random Spotify playlist, I think. Yeah, because I think the thing that I love to do is there's this playlist on Spotify called Quarantine. There are just a load of like new, I think like punk rock sort of stuff that goes onto the playlist, and when I listen to that just really randomly, I discover songs through that, because I can't think of any other playlist where I could have discovered the Hunter. So I discovered them from a random Spotify playlist. Oh my god. I have a lot of favourite songs here. So the first one is Bonfire, second is Never Enough, third is Bad Place. Yes, I think that is why I actually discovered them, because they came out with their new song Bad Place. Then the fourth song is I Wanna Know, fifth favourite song is Horror, the studio and unplugged version. I just love both of the versions, and then Young and Faded, both the studio and unplugged versions. And then the sixth and last band that I discovered in March, well, I discovered them in March, and they are called Hands Like Houses. I actually think I would have discovered them more in January and February, but because I had only listened to one of their songs, I wouldn't say I actually discovered them in Jan and Feb. I would say that I discovered them more in March and April. And I've even got down on how I discovered them. It was just carrying on from the last, like, bi-monthly, from their song Division Symbols on yet another random Spotify playlist. And my favourite song of theirs in the last, like, bi-monthly sector was Space. I discovered a lot of bands, really cool bands, in the last 2 months, and they are definitely bands that I am going to carry on listening to, especially Caskets, Hailstorm, The Hunter and Hands Like Houses. Not as much Burden or From Ashes to New, but they are definitely bands that I want to listen to more songs of. And then we move on to the album and EP discoveries, and there are 3 albums that I discovered in the last 2 months, or you know, March and April. So the first album that I discovered is actually by the Pale Whites, called and the album is called Infinite Pleasure. I think I did film a reaction to it, but I don't think I ever got around to actually editing that or uploading it, so I can't say, oh, I'm gonna link it above, because I never uploaded it. It was an album that I really enjoyed, so maybe I will edit that. And my favourite songs from the album, I have 4. So my first favourite is Glue, second That Dress, third Medicine, and then the 4th favourite is called Sonder. And then the second album I discovered is Two Better Days by Slaves, and I have 3 favourites from the album: Heavier, Clean Again, and Like I Do. Like I Do is got some heavy swearing in, but I have a feeling that's probably why I like it so much. But I do really like Slaves as a band, and I think I've probably listened to a couple of their other songs that aren't on this album, but I just can't think of them right now. And then the last album / EP discovery in March and April was the I'm Hard to Love But So Are You EPs, volumes 1 to 4 by Too Close to Touch. I did actually do an album reaction, an EP reaction to all of them, which I did upload a while ago, so I'll make sure to leave that linked as well. Like, the whole collection of EPs I really enjoyed, and I have a lot of favourites here. I think there are 6 there. So the first one is called Casket, then we've got Complain, third is F-I-N-E or Fine, because the song actually goes I am F-I-N-E fine, and then my 4th is Chasing Highs. That's a really good one actually, it's probably one of my favourites. And then the 5th is We Are All, in brackets, Criminals, and then the last favourite. So my 6th favourite is then The Fear of Letting Go. And now we can move on to the last section, which is song discoveries. There are a lot of songs here, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna bother counting because I know there's a lot. So the first one I've got listed here is Fooled by a Dream by Alesti featuring Andy Cizek, I want to say. That's the first song on there. Then the next song is called Animals by Architects. I think this was another random Spotify playlist. I think it was actually on the Quarantine playlist that I've already talked about in this video, and I loved it. Another song that I discovered from that playlist, I think, or something similar, is the song Never Know by Bad Omens. I know in my last video like this, there was another song by them that I had listened to. I think it was called Kingdom Cards. I really want to listen to that song again actually. So I'd probably class it as like a band discovery, and I definitely want to listen to more songs by Bad Omens. The next 2 songs are actually songs by Citizen Soldier. I have listened to them since last year, I think like since last July or something like that, and they came out with 2 new songs in like the March and April time period, and we have Stronger Than My Storm and If I Surrender. They do come out with some really cool music. Hang on, I just need to adjust my top. Then the next song is Looks Like Hell by Day to Remember. I just want to listen to fucking Looks Like Hell. Oh yeah, I remember that song now. And then the next song is actually quite a popular one. I believe it's actually a TikTok song, and I think the reason why I had actually discovered it was because of Instagram Reels, because it's obviously very similar to TikTok, and it is Arcade by Duncan Lawrence. Yeah, there are a couple of pop songs within this mixture, but most of them are actually punk rock or just, you know, rock in general. And then the next song I discovered is called Come Alive by Exist Immortal. They are kind of like a band that I discovered recently, but I don't really like, but Come Alive I do really like. The next 2 songs are actually by Holding Absence, which is a band that I did recently discover. I think I discovered them in January and February. My two songs like recently have been Like a Shadow and In Circles. Like they were the two songs that I discovered in, you know, March and April of theirs. They are some really cool songs. I mean, I do really like the song In Circles. I mean, it's kind of a given. Obviously, I like the songs. Why else would I be talking about them? The next song is called Feel Something by... right, there are a couple of different... I'm guessing they're bands or something like that. So you've got Elenium, Excision and I Prevail, and you know, obviously I Prevail is how I discovered them. I think that it was just I pressed play on the I Prevail artists page and it just came on and I enjoyed it. Went on the playlist for my March and April discoveries. I need to drink again, sorry. Another band that I did discover in January and February again was Lower Than Atlantis. I think I had two favourite songs by them in that video. I Don't Want to Be Here Anymore, and that was another sad one as well, but I can't remember the name of it. But the song that I enjoyed listening to in March and April was Get Over It. And then we have another band kind of like in a similar situation to Lower Than Atlantis is Motionless in White. I have listened to their song Voices before and I really liked that song, so I listened to another song and I enjoyed it again, which is called Somebody Told Me. The next song is by a band called One Last Glance and this is called Mind, but it is the unplugged version. I don't know if they have... I don't know if it's like an unplugged version or what. I'm kind of confusing. It might just be the title of the song. I genuinely don't know. Then the next band that I listened to was Pray for Sleep, and the song that I liked by them in this time period was Scream Back. Another song that I had discovered during this time was Overwhelmed by Royal and the Serpent, and can you guess why? Yes, I listened to, I think his name is Brian Mack or something like that, and he did like a remix of the song. He, you know, changed the lyrics. Obviously the song's about anxiety, so he like changed the lyrics to kind of fit with that, and that was kind of like how I discovered the song, because I genuinely thought to begin with that his version was an original, but no. And then I listened to the actual song by Royal and the Serpent and I enjoyed it, so it obviously ended up on my playlist. And then the next song that I discovered is called Send in the Hero by Sean Michael Walker, I want to say. I think that's how you pronounce his middle name there, I think. Very cool song, got a nice beat. I can still like, I hear it in my head. Like, when I think about all of these songs, most of them on this list, I can like hear the chorus in my head. Is that strange? I'm not sure. Someone tell me. Does someone think that's strange? Because I feel like people might. But like I can hear the beat, just the whole, not the whole chorus, but like where the title is in the song, if you get what I mean. And then the next song is actually by a band called Smash Into Pieces. This was in my 2020 discoveries, I believe. I really like them. They have some really great music, and the song that they released recently was called My Wildest Dream. Not their most recent release as I'm filming this, but like in the time period that I'm talking about, so March and April. We move on to the last 4 songs, I think. 4 like artists anyway. The next artist I actually discovered was Tom Grennan and his song Little Bit of Love. Well, I actually discovered Tom Grennan because of my dad. Me and my dad do have quite similar music tastes, like in some areas, so there are times when I will like discover bands from him, and that's how I discovered A Little Bit of Love. It was, I think my dad was playing it on his phone in the car once, because I was on my way back home from work and he had it on and he asked me, oh, do you know who this is? And I'm just like, wow, it sounds like Lewis Capaldi. And then my dad told me that it was actually Tom Grennan, and that is how I discovered him. And then the next 2 songs that I discovered in this time period were Shy Away and Choker by 21 Pilots. I'm not a massive fan of 21 Pilots songs, but I do quite like them and I enjoy them. I enjoy listening to them, especially like their newest stuff. Even though they are a bit more mainstream, I enjoy listening to them, and sometimes I do like a bit more mainstream music. Like, I have a mixture of like genre favourites. Then the last two songs, finally we are coming to the end of this video. And so the second to last song is called No Way Out by The Word Alive. Great song, although I don't know how I discovered them, but I have a feeling it could have been from a random Spotify playlist or an Instagram sponsor. I'm not sure. And then the last song is called Not Afraid to Die by Written by Wolves. I have listened to Written by Wolves before, and I love their song To Tell You the Truth. And I think that was actually how I had discovered the band as a whole. But Not Afraid to Die is a good song. I think with that being said, I think that's everything. I have talked about all of my band discoveries in March and April, album and EP discoveries, and my song discoveries. I feel like I have talked quite a lot in the past, I want to say 40 minutes. That is going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and let me know if you want me to do more videos like this. Maybe I'll start thinking about restarting my music channel at some point and moving all of my music content over there. If you are not yet subscribed, then please subscribe. I would love you to join me. Ding the bell to be notified for every single time I upload. I do have a regular schedule on Saturdays, and I do a lot of writing content as well as music content, if you are interested in that. All of my social media links will be down below in the description if you'd also like to check them out. Sorry for the loud clap, did not mean to do that, but I do mainly post over on Instagram. That's the main place to get active updates on everything. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!